It's time for Hellfest.
All those moments will be lost in time.
What's up, Universe, and welcome back to the web's first must-see comic and nerd culture show. Welcome to Comic Universe, guys. I'm your host, as always, C-Dubbs. And, guys, I'm riding solo on this video. And the 31-day Halloween horror movie challenge continues with day number 8, guys. I'm a little behind on posting the actual reviews, but I promise I have been watching a horror movie every single day this month. And today we are talking a brand new film, if you will. Hellfest. That's right. Directed by Gregory Polanyi. Starring Bex Taylor Klaus, Rain Edwards, and Amy Forsyth. And this movie is based, basically, it's a tale as old as time, if you will. It's nothing that's going to change the game in terms of how a horror movie is or told. But basically, this movie consists of a bunch of friends going to something horror-themed, if you will, scary movie, whatever you may want. And during, for instance, in Scream, when they attended the film premiere within the movie and everybody was screaming, you know, that's when a murder took place. And it seemed like a part of the show. Nobody heard it because everybody was screaming in the scary part of the film, so forth and so on. So goes this movie. So a bunch of friends, teenage friends, they actually attend something I would say the equivalent of Halloween Horror Nights here in Universal Studios. Probably the biggest horror movie or horror, you know, scary house, haunted house themed attraction here in the United States, I would say. Basically, Horror Fest is a traveling circus or something to that effect that travels from town to town every year, and they have a bunch of different Halloween scary haunted houses that you would attend to, and they got a bunch of characters and actors and things like that that kind of keep the theme and motif going. Well, what makes this particular movie or special, or I should say this event special, is they have a section of houses where you could sign a waiver to where they're actually able to touch you when they scare you. So they could jump out, or they could grab you, or pretend to kill you, or things of that nature, to kind of amp up the scariness of the film, if you will. And we follow these three girls, okay, and their boyfriend / love interest, if you will, to this fair where there's also carnival rides and, you know, carnival games and things of that nature. And we attend Hellfest, and, you know, you get your little jump scares, because just like when you're traveling through those houses, things jump in and out at you and everything. But again, once they end up going to where they could touch you, everything gets ramped up. The scares get a little more intense. The art design gets a little more intense. Everything just kind of gets bumped up a notch. And forgetting his name off the top of my head, I should be ashamed of myself. But the actor that is famously who portrayed the likes of Candyman actually makes a cameo in this film. Oh man, I'm going to remember this once this video is over too. You know, it's one of those things. And what I guess let's talk about the good things about this film first. If you like slasher films, this is right up your alley. If you like, you know, some of the traditional 80s and 90 horror movies, this is going to be right up your alley. It has really strong female characters in this movie. All of them are pretty, you know, strong, and I could maybe in the future see them actually do some lead roles. We have the smart one that takes no sass. We have the sassy one that is, you know, firm and is not going to take no BS from a man. And we got the wild and crazy one, but is willing to stand up for herself as well, which is actually really cool. It's slightly refreshing to see these women not necessarily be damsels in distress, if you will. And in fact, the men in this movie, you know, for lack of a better term, and in no disrespect, as my friend would call them, or I should say my friend's dad would call them, they're just a bunch of puss cakes. Okay, just a bunch of, you know, guys that they actually take on the role a little bit more of the damsel in distress and don't handle being faced with this horror, if you will. Some other good things about this film is it actually made me start to think. It's something that unfortunately never really touched on in the film, but it made me think. There was one scene at the first, like, not the first kill, but the first kill where our main actors are kind of involved in it. Okay, the killer, if you will, is killing another guest of the park for not thinking he was scary enough, if you will. And he's literally standing there looking at one of the girls and the main actress of the film, and he's about to kill this girl, and he's just staring at her. She's staring her down, and eventually he kills her. And it's, again, she thinks it's all a part of the act, a part of the show, and she kind of moves on within the haunted house. But it would have been kind of cool to see them, as they realized this was real, to realize that they actually pointed out where she was hiding in the haunted house. They were, because he approached them initially, and they're like, "Yeah, how about you stay on, on track here? Why don't you stay within your role, get back on script?" And she's hiding over there. It would have been kind of cool to see how they dealt with basically sentencing that girl to her death. They don't really touch on that, but that would have been a really cool insight. But overall, I got to experience that, so it made me question myself how I would feel if I were faced in that situation. And we get some stereotypical moments and things like that, but again, it's just really good to see the girls kind of stand up to the killer. I feel like they were kind of maybe going for a Scream vibe in terms of the killer, just kind of like this weird, wonky, distorted face, just this unmasked killer. And I guess let's talk about some of the negatives to this film. First and foremost, the killer, we never, this is a slight spoiler, you don't really get any insight to the killer, why he's doing it, or anything to that nature. There is a twist at the end of the movie about the killer, which it was kind of cool and a little different, and it made me think that, anybody could be the killer, I guess. You never know in this world. Some of the stereotypical things, and not the theme. The theme was kind of refreshing because it's been a while since I've seen a film like this, where they kind of tackle the whole, everything in the movie is scary and horror, so everyone kind of takes what's going on, if you will, as a part of this, the scene, the scenario that they're all within. So it was kind of different in that regard, so I did like that, but some of the kills were just kind of whatever, nothing too crazy. There were a few cheesy kills. But overall, I enjoyed the movie. It wasn't bad. My biggest beef with the movie, again, since I live here in Orlando, and Halloween Horror Nights is probably one of the biggest events here in Orlando. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people attend these theme parks to experience this, and I've been one of them. And also, a friend of mine, he's an owner of a haunted house attraction here in Orlando as well, called Neverending Nightmare, which I actually am a scare actor within the film, or within the actual haunted house. And I also, or as he calls it, a haunt. He doesn't want to be called a haunted house. And basically, I help him set it up and everything like that. So I see how haunted houses are actually ran. I've been to them. I've been in them. And what's actually kind of interesting in this film is that, and I guess there's really no way to really do it, is that there are too many times within the film where they're going through the house. And I get it. They kind of signed on and paid extra for this backstage pass access or whatever the case may be. But there was too many times where they themselves were alone. In most haunted houses, haunts, if you will, people are ushered in as many as possible. Even in a little bit more independent, you may get to, a few moments ahead. They try to space it out so everybody can enjoy the scares. But in a big establishment like Hellfest or Halloween Horror Nights, you're ushered in like cattle, for better or for worse. They got to fit all these millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people in these houses, within a 4 to 6 hour period, if you will. 8 hours sometimes if you're lucky. So to me, it kind of took me out of it a little bit because I'm like, oh, that wouldn't happen. That's not realistic. This isn't that. And also in the film, some of the employees of Hellfest, listen, man, I work in Orlando. I've worked for, many hotels. I have dealt with customer service, and we all deal with, at least on the receiving end of customer service, period. If there's a problem, if you're experiencing a problem in any establishment, 9 times out of 10, the people, attending to your problem are not going to treat you like you're an idiot. This film really, especially the security department, and they kept using the word arrest, and I'm like, security doesn't arrest people first and foremost. Officers do that, They call for people to come and arrest you, if you will. But they generally will treat you with respect. They try to understand your problem, try to fix your problem, so they don't have to give you your money back, or they don't have to, inconvenience you any further, because their job is there to make you and allow you to enjoy yourself. So I found the employees of Hellfest kind of, And it's not. We're not talking about the characters. We're really talking about like other people, like the game show hosts that when you go up to throw the ball to knock down the jars, if you will, to win a prize for your girl. These guys are dickheads. Like a guy comes back and goes, "I'll give you $50 for a stuffed animal," and the guy goes, "No, I'll lose my job." Like he wouldn't. He's sorry about your luck, buddy. He wouldn't approach the situation like that, even if he didn't take the $50 because he didn't want to lose his job. He would have at least maybe tried to help him or speak to him in a respectful manner. Things like that just really took me out. When they're talking to the security guard, he's like, maybe your friends are just drunk and they're pulling a prank on you. They wouldn't use those words. They wouldn't speak in those phrases. So it really just kind of whatever for me. Took me out of the film a bit. But overall, I enjoyed it. I would give it a 3, just because it's been a while since I've seen a slasher film like this. And I'm always up for a good slasher film. But I can see how some people might give it a 2, and how some people might not even like it. But it is a good time to take your honey to the horror movie, if you will, and kind of get a good jump scare before Halloween. Definitely, I would say go ahead and give it a try. Let us know what you think in the comments below, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on these videos, guys. It lets us know we're doing a good job. It helps us grow. And as we grow, we're going to be able to do bigger and better things for you guys. We have a lot of plans. I know I keep saying this, but trust me, we do. We're trying to be different than your average YouTube channel. But we just got to get big enough to be able to do those type of things. To have the audience to where I could reach out and grab the funds and grab the prizes that I want to give you guys. And incorporate the technology to bring, you guys more into the fold. If you will. If you like, again, what me, DPZ, and Jay are doing, and also it's going to help us be able to grow the team to where, maybe we don't have to work so hard in our professional lives and we could be here more with you guys. So again, like these videos if you like them. If it's the first time you're kind of stumbled upon us, we do all kinds of nerdtastic videos, if you will. We cover everything in geek and nerd culture and pop culture as well. We all have our own individual channels as well. Well, this is my main hub, to be honest with you. I'm focusing everything into here, guys, but DPZ has his own channel as well, and so does Jay with Jay's Reviews, so check those guys out as well. Also, a good friend of the show, Comic Uno, check her out as well as the Mount Vernon kid. He kind of is the one that brought us all together in a fan fiction website, if you will. And he's relatively big on YouTube in terms of the nerd culture. So check him out. You can find him at Mount Vernon Kid. And guys, until next time, I'm C-Dubbs, and I'll see you guys in the universe. Peace.